back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Arc Hive. It's us right here again with you here in Nashville, Tennessee. You got, of course, your crew here. You got Mr. Huff, you got T. Swain, K. Nasty, your boy B. Sten, Timbo Slice here, back from the dead, so to speak. I'm here again with you guys, and of course, we got young Cody running it over here today. Today, we're gonna go in a different route, talk a little bit about the Archeons story, a little bit about ourselves, a little bit about our backstories and how we got to where we are now and where we're going and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm gonna throw it at Brian. Right
oh man, you should probably throw it somewhere else.
Oh man, my thoughts. All right,
I gotta remember. I want to hear you.
You want to hear me?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, let's start with you.
I want to hear.
Goodness
do the
gracious! All right,
because we're from kind of everywhere, so
yeah,
it's true.
From every
California,
Mississippi,
Kansas,
and why?
Indiana.
All right,
so
like
from Kansas too.
My boy.
Yeah, we got two KS boys in the house.
Kansas.
We'll have to let Cody throw in his story in here too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Faux show.
All right. So, story time. So, shortly after, dang it.
Tough crowd.
But, yeah, so music was always in my life and doing all that good jazz, and I did the high school thing, and I was like, haha, diploma, just barely. And
Heard that.
I went right out of high school into college for music on a music scholarship. And I had a combination of two things. One, depression, yay. So I didn't go to like any of my classes and I flunked out, and like the dean of the music department was really pissed off at me because like they gave me like, I don't know, like 10 grand or something like that, and I just like didn't go to any of my classes. Yeah. But I wasn't trying to be douchey at the time, but I was pretty decent at guitar, and I felt like I was better than the teacher too, so I was just kind of like, I don't know, douchey, but got out of that, got in the restaurant business, moved to Silicon Valley for a hot second, and from there I ended up saving up a chunk of change, came out here chasing the dream. People used to ask me all the time when I was like, I would work at P.F. Chang's in the morning and then I would work at Cheesecake Factory at nighttime, and I did that at least 5 days a week for about a year. And people would ask me all the time, they were like, Tim, why are you working so much? Like, you're working all the time and you're saving up all this money. Be like, well, I'm going to Nashville. And they're like, well, why are you going to Nashville? And I was like, I don't know, I just have to go. Like,
I don't know.
Like, destiny calls me there. I have something I'm supposed to do out there, and I know I'm supposed to go. I just don't know particularly how it's all going to align and fall into place. So, here I am, came out to Nashville, chased that dream, kind of the Cliff Notes version of the story, but it was a lot of fun, a lot of intoxicated evenings, a lot of great adventures, a lot of great friendships and bonds and growth and all that jazz, and here we are today.
Question, how much music did you do in school to get a scholarship?
I wrote a song, it was originally an acoustic version, but I turned it into kind of like an electric, like solo piece, and so when I ended up applying to this college, Simpson University in Redding, California. So I don't even remember how I
You weren't like a band kid?
Nah. Oh, no, I just did like a solo guitar piece, and they were like,
look at that. You didn't need
it.
it.
Like your audition video.
Basically.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
Go into that, man. Talk about when you got to Nashville and that.
Yeah, well, when I got into Nashville, I actually, I spent a lot of time kind of building my own environment in my home place and work and all that, but I didn't do like hardly any music at all. Really, not really anything. In honesty, this is going to sound weird, but Archeons was the second ad that I ever even answered out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you know, I think it's Six Semper Tyrannis?
I know them.
Yeah. So I messaged them first, and then I came...
Second choice.
All right. But no, I came across the post that you guys had on Craigslist, and I was like, I got to be a part of this for sure. So that's kind of how that happened.
So I was just like, plan B.
Yeah.
It's good to know, Tim. I don't
Shout
forget
out
much.
to my boy James and Six Semper Tyrannis.
Hey.
What up, man?
Thanks
Hi,
for
James.
denying
I
Tim.
The funny thing is, sorry, they didn't deny me. They were like, yeah, come on in, like, come on over. And then
And then you saw us. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I just kind of like ghosted and never
Gotcha.
responded.
Sorry,
So-
James.
Sorry, James.
Sorry.
Yeah, but actually, the cool thing was there was this guy named Tyler. I didn't say his last name, but he actually knew my mom, and he did a lot of music in California and came out here to Nashville and was like semi-successful, pretty successful-ish, however you want to label it. He survived, could feed himself. I call that success in the music industry.
That's
so.
yeah. I'd say that's the goal usually.
Yeah. But he would come into Cheesecake Factory all the time while I was working there, and it was cool because he came in one day and we just started chatting up, and he's basically the one that kind of pushed me to even like reach out more out here, to reach out to you guys even, because he was just kind of like, I would come to his table, I'd get him his food or whatever, and then he'd talk to me about music. He'd talk to me about like the struggle, talk to me about like what it takes to go the distance and all that. And he kind of said to me one day, he's like, what are you doing? Like, in a very polite way, like, you're working here at Cheesecake Factory, you moved all the way across the country, you say, like, you busted your ass to get here. And, like, now you're just waiting tables. Like, you didn't move all the way across the country just to wait tables. Like, get out there and do it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, waiting tables. Service industry
It's
stuff.
a
Really cool.
rite of passage, man.
Yeah, I feel like.
Sucks.
I think it's cool that, like, all of us have done food service.
I
So,
feel like
me,
it's
it's
just
like-
kind of the.
For me, I feel like more introverted, so I thought like waiting tables would be like, oh, you get to like, you learn how to like converse with people and not just be awkward. But I found that it's just you get to go and just stand there and be awkward in front of 5,000 different people
Yeah.
every week. So it's just like
Yeah.
pretty much just hell on earth for someone who doesn't like to talk to people, like strangers.
Yep.
Didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
for you, like, how long have you been doing
Go ahead,
food
Huff.
service and stuff? and all
Just a
that?
few months.
A few
I've
months.
never done it before.
Oh, okay, right on.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you're right though. Like, it's definitely like a
Yeah, just like
awkward
hi.
in front of everybody type thing.
Like all of a sudden I'm like, English words. I'm like, where did they go? I don't know words.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you, Huff? Story time.
Story time. Let's
Think we-
take it back.
Take it back.
So growing up, I hated music at first because I was forced to take piano lessons and all that shit.
Mm.
But I couldn't stand it.
You guys playing footsie?
No.
And I think I had that.
You grew up
I had
hating
that
music?
emo. I had that emo phase,
Oh, and that's what got you into it?
and that's what got me into music. That and
Cody?
skateboarding.
Okay, I feel that.
Um,
I
Is
can
that
relate.
true for you too, Cody? Emo phase? The songs hit
No
you in the
comment.
feels
my
first?
God, yeah. So yes, I started listening to a whole new bunch of bands and like different types of music that I had never listened to before. Like I always liked alternative rock and stuff like that growing up, but like how I first got into music was through the emo stuff, and a lot of that is terrible. But
Looking back.
but
Yeah, right.
it got me
Yeah.
interested in it, and I tried to start a few bands in high school that were unsuccessful.
What was your first band's name?
Oh fuck. If I remember correctly,
Too edgy. Too edgy for
Dead
you.
Over Heels.
Dead
It is
Over
edgy.
Heels.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
That's
boys
a-
in Dead Over
That's
Heels.
a good emo name. I'll give you that.
That's actually not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was Blind Tiger.
Yeah.
205.
But
That was yours?
205.
That was my first. It was in fifth grade.
205?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
Fifth grade.
Was that the area code?
No, it was our homeroom number.
615 coming at you.
Mine
That's our
was
homeroom number.
excellence of execution.
Yep.
Yikes.
Chris's was blood snot.
No.
Blood snot.
That wasn't my first band.
Ooh, what was your first?
We tried
name?
one in high school, Odium.
Odium.
What's the
That's a
name of
cool
it?
name.
Okay.
How about you, Brian?
'Cause it
Any
stood
old band
for
names?
hate.
What was your first band name?
Blind Tiger.
Blind Tiger.
Yeah. And then,
Just 80s throwback, huh?
yeah, we're just like,
Dead giveaway.
you just need like a handicap and a wildcat.
Yeah.
Sounds like a strategy
It's a
for
formula.
life.
Yeah.
But
like lame bobcat. It's like another option, you know.
I had a lot of unsuccessful bands, like projects in high school, and I was in jazz band my senior year, and singing, and I met this kid, bass player. Me and him started a project after high school called Her Fatal Remedy, and we were from Biloxi, Mississippi, but we got, I guess, good experience in playing because we played 2 or 3 times a weekend.
Oh damn.
Yeah, we played a
That's
lot.
pretty frequent.
Covers or
Original. The scene was going good that few years, and then it died.
Was this back 04, 03?
This is 10, 11.
Oh shit, okay.
I hear that there's
Still
a big
pretty good.
grunge scene in Nashville, so we should write a grunge song.
Garage.
But no, that's where I got a lot of like my practice as far as like playing live and stuff like that. After that project, I tried for a few years in Mississippi, still like putting another thing together unsuccessfully, and by that point I just said fuck it, I'm about to move somewhere. It was either gonna be Florida or here. The only reason I moved here is because I had a friend coming up here, and I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. But I was either here or Florida because I had a project going in Florida that looked promising too. But I ended up coming here last minute. It was just like, fuck it, let's try it. And I was here for 2 years until I found these guys, and that was a whole adventure in and of itself. Like, unlike Tim, Archeons was not the first ad I responded to. Like, I tried so many ads, I tried friends of friends, all that, and either the egos were to the fucking moon, or, I could tell that they just wanted to record, like, songs and not play live.
Oh.
So, yeah, I had a mutual friend point me in your guys' direction. I was fucking impressed by what I heard. I was like, fuck, they can actually write a song.
Shout out to Andrew.
I'll say this is Andrew, right?
Yeah, Andrew.
What a
And,
bro.
Yeah. It was funny because, like, he tried out for you guys.
Yeah, he was the first tryout that we had.
And
Is the first?
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a bro move for him to be like, oh, yeah, you should.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking props to him.
But
That's a good sign of no ego.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
that's about it for me, though. Short and simple.
T. Swain.
Oh.
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 Take us out to old Kansas.
Old Dexter. I was from a buttfuck town of nothing. And,
Damn, shots fired.
yeah.
Probably 90% of the people watching are from
Yeah,
there.
right.
Fuck you, Dexter, Kansas.
Yeah.
No, Ken.
90% of Dexter's like 6 people. So.
It's true, can confirm.
But no, I got into metal. My dad was always a big metalhead, and I remember the first song was "Determined" by Mudvayne. I remember he had
that song.
iTunes, and I was sitting in the back of his truck, and I just had headphones in, and I remember that was the first time I felt super cool. I was like, man, this is so, I don't know.
Back of a truck,
I just
listening to
remember,
Mudvayne?
yeah,
That is cool.
Like I was just like, damn, this is awesome, and that was like my first like. I like this genre because Dad always tried to get me into it, and he gave me my first guitar and stuff because he could play a little, and came back home, started I guess technically my first band was Unlimited Atonement because I was like there's like 4 people from Dexter who were into metal, and so we started a band, and yeah, we were awesome. That was terrible.
It's
But
confidence.
did
though.
that, and then I joined EOE, and that was we had a peak time. It was probably around 10, 11.
PM?
2010,
2010,
2011.
2011.
I get it.
We played a lot of shows and stuff, so that was fun. Made some jams. Albums on Spotify. Check it out.
What?
Shameless plug.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and so then this is where Chris and I's story will overlap. My girlfriend at the time just like threw this little magazine down, and it said like Sinister Gates Masterclass, and she's like, you gotta enter it. And I was like, alright, cool. I love Sinister Gates. Favorite guitarist and stuff. And so yeah, I wrote a song for the competition, and somehow I won. And then so there's 10 winners that got to fly out to California and meet Sinister Gates and tour the Schecter Guitar Factory and stuff. And so like after I won, I went and listened to the other 9, and I just remember watching Chris's video because he was one of the winners too, and just being like, God damn, this is pretty sick.
God damn.
Yeah, I fell in love like instantly. I messaged him like as soon as the video ended.
Fell in love.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
mutual.
Just don't cry, and it's not good.
I know. But yeah, and so I messaged him and I was like, "Yo, this is sick." And then we flew out to Cali. We got delayed the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, so we talked for a couple months before we actually got to go out there because by the time we got announced and then to when we actually went, it was probably like 6 months.
Dude, it's a long time,
Yeah. So, yeah, we were just talking. Long distance love relationship. Flew out
Things
to
started
California.
getting
And they've been
serious.
tugging each other's wieners ever since.
Yeah, and flew out to California. We're just like instant bros too. We're both the only like 2 fat ones that.
I wasn't fat. It was winter weight.
When you're from upstate New York, I guess
Yeah, you gotta pack it on.
The first time the trip got canceled, it was pretty bad in New York.
Yeah.
So I had to
You
put
had
on
to
some weight to
back on the
stay
weight.
warm.
You're gonna freeze to death.
Yeah.
And
Man.
only 30 pounds overweight. I need more.
30, it's a little low.
So yeah, we won, or we flew out there, hung out for a couple days. Chris would buy me alcohol because I was only 20.
No.
We could just cut that out.
So we just drank 40s and
Yeah, that was your thing.
went to my first strip club with you too. That was a good time.
That was
Anyway,
a good
so
strip club too.
it was expensive though.
Worth
But-
it.
Yeah, so flew back home and we just kept talking. And I remember we were just like, if nothing's going on with our bands, like we should do something. Like we should move together. And then our options were, it was pretty much like California, Texas, or Nashville. And then we decided on Nashville.
Or
'cause-
New York City.
Yeah. And we decided on Nashville because like New York's here, Kansas here, and Nashville is like in the middle. And yeah, so we got
Yeah, I
here
think that worked out.
and then we started searching, and then we met Brian through Red Lobster, and
Thank you to them biscuits.
them biscuits.
RL.
Which we already talked about this a
Damn
little
biscuits.
Yes.
bit, but yeah. And then cranked out some tunes, and then met Tim, and we met Huff, and we put out an EP.
And that brings us to now.
The
Now
power.
we're doing stupid podcasts.
Yeah, and now we're doing podcasts. That's about it.
The nasty.
Man, I'd say, yeah, our stories are gonna overlap quite a bit. I'd say.
Let's hear your
I'm sure.
perspective.
I'm
of it.
sure. I listened to Mudvayne in the back of a truck a time or two. But yeah, man, same deal. Just small town life. Let me get my head on straight real quick. Oh, how far back are we going here? All the way back?
Just whenever you fell in love with metal, I would say.
Fell in love with metal.
Watching Backcountry. I know that's
I just-
a
yeah,
thing
well-
for both of us too.
As far as like playing guitar goes, yeah, I heard Backcountry on the radio, the dueling leads during
Mhm.
the solo, and I was like, oh shit.
It was
I
definitely
think
what got
this
me
is-
into guitar. Like,
Yeah,
heavy.
100%. Like that moment, I was like, all right, I want to do some shit. And I already had guitar like my whole life up to that point, but I think that was the point where it got serious. And then, so just played all the time up until, God, how old were we? You were
I
20
was
for the trip.
You were 21.
So yeah, that was just about it. Just playing guitar all the time up until about 21. Then we had the trip, met Trey. And let's see. I think that's about the gist of it.
Damn, that
There's
was-
not much
Any
more.
old bands?
Yeah, you
Old
gotta
bands.
talk
I mean,
about-
there's a few, but nothing serious.
That's fine.
I mean, you said Bloodstomp. There was
Yeah.
that. That was the band I was in before this. And that was just like a
hardcore
slam.
band.
Yeah, it was like a slam. Just like super heavy band. But
Slam.
it's just, small town shit just wasn't like what I was after. So then I met Trey and we were like, dude, we should start something serious.
But I would say like
Yeah.
being in a small town was cool because like all you had to do was play guitar.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's it.
I think that's, a big part of it. There's not really much else to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was
Sorry,
telling
fuck
young
it, why
Cody
not?
that like I was the fat kid in school, so guitar was my friend because no one else would be. Is the way I thought about it. Like,
pretty much, man.
Yeah.
That's so
I had a
sad.
great time in school.
Yeah, okay.
loser. No.
Well, ours was so small, it's hard to be like uncool. So
Yeah,
I
true.
don't know.
Childhood was
I got really fat after. Oh, I did want to say that I went to college too for music. And I also hated my guitar teacher because I thought I was better than him. And it was like right after I won the competition and stuff.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And so like,
You're like, I don't need this.
and like, oh, it was terrible. And then they were going to give me a sponsorship. And then I remember him telling me, because he told me, he was like, if you play saxophone in the band, then you'll get a scholarship.
Yeah.
And then, like, I remember it was, like, after we were having our falling out, and I quit showing up to practices and shit. And he's like, oh, I thought you didn't want the scholarship. Like legitimately saying, he's like, I didn't give it to you. And that's when I really just dropped off. And then he told me to not ever take his classes again. So I kind of got kicked out of school.
Kicked out of
for
college.
guitar, yeah.
Wow.
I get okay. A little funny story for you. If we're going back to the schooling with music, I tried taking, I think it was music theory my senior year in high school, and they wouldn't let me because I was never in band.
Oh yeah.
So now,
Seems like
jokes on you.
It seems like so backwards.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You would want people to take theory first.
Right. True.
Did we get your story yet, though, B-Ry?
No,
We
see,
have
I was
not.
I was the band nerd, so I was like into all that stuff super early on. But I feel like I started with drum set before I got into band. I think I was younger than that. It was mainly just watching the dude at church, and then he would let me like play on it afterwards and stuff. And then my parents could just tell I was into it, so they bought me a drum set for Christmas one year. I think I was 8.
Like the first act drum set.
No, it was like a drum set I played up until like
Oh damn.
I was like probably 14.
Damn.
Because it was like they got an actual drum set that was just made for small stages, so it was like just smaller size, but it's still like a.
That's cool.
I forgot
wanna
what
start
it was
on
called.
ice.
It's a Tama. But yeah, I had a guitar even before that because my dad plays guitar and I was always like into it. But yeah, definitely Dream Theater got me into metal and heavier music because I was like and they're not heavy, but like when you're like 6 years old, they're like blowing your mind, you know.
They had their moments.
Yeah, just listening to some of those instrumental parts, just like I felt like I was on a different planet. Like, what is this? What is even going on right now? And yeah, then during high school, I guess I hit the real heavy phase. Like, if I thought like if there was singing in a song, I was like, oh, what is like who is this John
Remember
Mayer?
those days? Yeah.
You know, I was like, this sucks. And but now I ride John Mayer's ass all the time now, just because like I eventually came around to like now if I don't have like the hook or something, then I'm just like, oh, this is like painful.
Yeah.
If they only scream the whole time.
Yeah, which is funny to think about like now, like as you get older, because like, it was back then. It's like it just had to be heavy as shit.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, well, I think that's like when we were talking about what direction we wanted to go, because EOE was all screaming pretty much, and I remember just being like, I think I really just enjoy singing, like when it comes down to it, like you know, like Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah. Like, what would you rather listen to yourself?
Yeah.
I think I feel like I grew out of it. I feel like a lot of people like grow out of it, but it's like some people like stick with that forever.
Yeah.
And that's cool too.
I mean, I still dig the heavy shit. It's
right.
just like, what do I want to?
It's like a mood now, though.
Yeah.
It's like a mood. It's not like I'm not like if they sing. I'm like, ugh.
It's like it's fun to write some heavy shit and do our music every now and then, but for the most part, you want it to be a little melodic.
Now it's just like something you could pull from, I guess. But I played in a few bands. The first one was Blind Tiger when I was like, I think I had just started high school. But like I got like too fat for sports, and then so like drums was a way to like still kind of try to be cool, because like playing drums is cool, I guess, but even if you're not, so
Probably for cardio too. If you're overweight,
it doesn't matter if you're eating while you're doing it.
yeah,
It doesn't
you can't
matter.
outplay what you
You
eat.
can't out drum a bad diet. In fact,
Tried and true.
yeah, I played with the band called Open Your Eyes for about a year probably, and that was like where I learned a lot about songwriting and just like being in a band in general. And they went on to like get signed and are still I think they have new music coming out soon, and they're great guys and taught me a lot. So then I think I don't even remember much after that. That was in my college days. No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
all a blur.
No, but I graduated high school early and then went to college when I was still 17, so I really didn't care about it too much, because I was like, wait, they don't care if you're there or not?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, well, I don't want to do that. So my parents could kind of see that typical college was like not for me, so that's when I came down here to do SAE for audio engineering,
Mm-hmm.
and graduated with that. So
Nice.
and I was like, I never really wanted to be like an audio engineer full time. That's more of like a plan C type of thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I feel like it would be good to know to kind of be able to speak the language with people who are
Yeah.
working on your own music, and
Yeah.
be able to make really good sounding demos too.
Mm-hmm.
So
True that.
that pretty much.
I
brings
was
us
a
to
band
now.
nerd as well in I think fourth grade or fifth grade is when I had to
These
start.
guys.
I see. I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like
They
all
just-
in elementary
they wouldn't
school.
let
like,
me.
I wish I would have done drums because I picked up saxophone in 5th grade. I also wish I still had my saxophone because I would totally lay that down
Bro,
on some tracks.
Saxophone? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's the most. That's the
Dude.
sexiest instrument. Like Kenny G probably slays so much poon, dude.
Yeah. I was
Kenny G.
okay at saxophone too. Like I wasn't like super awesome, but
That's yeah.
I still have my
Good enough for
trumpet
metal.
here
Yeah,
in
good enough for-
Nashville with me.
So I played trumpet too.
It's really good. I feel like it's good to have like that base of like knowledge, and that's like
Yeah.
one thing my dad always pushed me to keep doing was like learning stuff like that and just
Mhm.
keeping like even like concert snare. And like all through high school and all that, I did like the Northwest Indiana Youth Symphony Orchestra, where it's like playing timpani and all that.
Mm.
And after a while, I was like,
percussion was dope.
after a while, I was like, this is like sucks though.
This is
It's
like
it's not drum set.
Boring.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not like on a stage and
yeah,
you're just like a faceless.
yeah,
You know, you're serving the song so much at that point. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just like I want to hit stuff really hard too.
But it's also fun. in a
Choir was
different way.
dope.
It is fun, yeah. And I had a lot more chops
Is it-
actually when I was doing like marching snare.
Yeah.
It's so funny that
That's
you
just
talk
cool.
about you having
So,
choir because like
definitely.
my high school was poor. We didn't have choir.
Mm.
And it's funny because we had jazz band, and that was
Didn't
like
have
the only
choir.
singing I did in
Didn't have
school.
choir. That's weird. But see,
had
choir
choir.
was cool for me
Music
because
choir.
you talk about like
You had fucking 3 people in your town. You
Yeah,
had choir.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I don't know,
Maybe
man.
3-part harmony.
Well, our
That's
music
it.
teacher, she was super awesome too. She hated me until probably my senior year too. But then we like really
I
once
can't
I like
imagine
started.
why.
Yeah, I was a shitty kid, for sure.
Was.
Very egotistical.
Still
But,
a shitty kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shitty adult
past
now.
tense.
but no, in choir I was like the only guy for like 1 year. I was the only male in choir.
That's good for you.
You
yeah.
gotta be the baritone and the tenor.
Yeah, pretty much. So I
Bro.
definitely wasn't able to sing high, but I always had to.
That's funny. I'll talk about my brief college experience. So because I knew I wanted to be in bands, I didn't go off anywhere. I was just like, yeah, community college is fine.
Hey, man, why not?
And of course, you know, I had scholarships because of ACT scores and all that shit. But I was like, fuck it.
What'd you score?
28.
Me too.
I scored 69.
Damn.
Yeah. So no college accepted me.
But anyways,
He's too smart.
no.
And sexy.
so I
Can't
tried
have
out for the choir at the community college and I made it. And like they wanted me to do this like dance and sing thing and I was like, fuck that.
Damn, you should.
Dude,
Sounds like
so
a TV
should've.
show.
you'd end up in a men's choir kid person.
Oh my
with,
God.
Dude, I wish that I would
Like a
have learned to
plaid
like
vest
sing
on.
and dance when I was younger.
Yeah, I ended up not going to
Oh,
that school because I joined this band closer to my hometown and just went to that community college.
I was always the same way. I was like, I always wanted to do music, so I never pursued anything other than like
Yeah.
trying to figure out bands and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds
There's
about
no
right.
singing and dancing and basketball.
Yeah.
And dancing
I was
and
off and on for
basketball.
school for a few years and ended up just not going back.
Yeah, no, for sure. School was definitely not for me.
It's rough.
But I feel like I would go now for like business or marketing. or
Yeah,
some
now you
shit.
see all the stuff that you should have been like.
Yeah,
focusing
right.
on.
The things that
Yeah.
could actually help
Yeah,
you.
like marketing, business, anything.
Going to school for music's definitely.
Songwriting.
Weird because it's like we go to college at the time in our lives like where we immediately experience the rush of the most freedom we've ever had to like be autonomous and do
Yeah,
whatever
true.
you want, while also simultaneously being like the most hormonally like
Yeah.
like on
is true.
fire and it's like it's the worst possible time to just like go choose a destiny like
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And you still like, you're not grown when you're 18. I'm not grown now
my
at
God.
23.
Yeah.
Whoever's the oldest
Yeah.
here is not grown yet, and it's like it's basically a bunch of adult
Collage.
children running around on their own
yeah.
with like alcohol and
Mm-hmm.
their parents' credit cards
Yep.
in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it is weird.
And a lot of wanting to fuck.
Yeah.
Man.
It is kind of crazy to think about because you're so like I think of the difference of me between like 18 or 22 to now.
Right.
And it's just so huge. Like, like now I would feel comfortable going to college just to have a little bit more idea of,
Yeah.
you know, back then I was just
That's why
like, fuck everybody.
a lot of like crazy ideas come out of like universities and shit because they're in that vulnerable stage, and then you have people who act like they know something and like
hey, you have to do this if you want
brainwash
to be
you.
successful. You know,
just
very
like,
true.
Just with anything, some of the craziest shit comes out of universities.
Yeah. All right, Cody.
We need a mic over there.
Cody, it's story
Why
time
don't you
for
pull
Cody.
up to the table?
Cody's
Hey,
in
come
the
over here.
shot.
Frame.
Cody in the shot. Cody in the shot.
Is this your first real appearance?
Maybe so.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
That's a goddamn
Thank you very much. So my story is that I was just, like we talked about earlier, I was just another emo kid, except I was like the acoustic emo kid. So I started playing acoustic guitar when I was like 15. That's all I did, and I was just sad all the time.
I feel like in the emo community, like our two different groups had a lot of animosity towards the other one.
Yeah, well,
Like-
I started like shifting. I started
Fuck your
shifting,
acoustic.
like, I started listening to like Chiodos and Alcina when I was like 16, 17. I was already listening to like alt rock, but that's like the heaviest one. It went like 3 Days Grace, Avenged Sevenfold, obviously. That they were my first concert ever, and that was amazing. And then when I went to my first semester at college, I got accepted in for choir, and I actually did the show choir.
He actually
And then I moved to another college because of a girl. That college stuff, you know. But that's okay because I joined this band called Beardactyl. And that's where I met Trey here. And that's where I started getting into like metal heavily and heavy metal. So, and then I just thought he was amazing then, and I loved his band then. And I'm sure if I would have knew you guys then, I would have been a huge fan.
No, probably not.
But then
Not at that time. No.
I kind of get to, I just followed Trey and what he was doing, kept on playing music. It's always been a big passion for me. And then I came down for vacation last year to visit, met all the dudes, and we all hit it off pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
And they invited me down to kind of be a helping hand and a good buddy. And I'm a huge fan of them. So it's kind of like a dream to be here, and I don't know why they let me be here, but they put up for me for this song, and I'm just thankful, and I love them, and I'm just like a huge fan to see. I'm so excited to see what comes out of these dudes because they're all gonna go so far, and it's just crazy and surreal every day. So yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
And
I'm out. Yeah.
I'm out.
It was beautiful.
All right.
I could feel that in my shins.
Yep.
I have shin splints now.
Yeah, I met Cody, God, when I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
He was just
A
always
couple, couple young bucks.
He was super supportive about EOE, and then when I joined Archeons, I would always send him stuff because he's just always wanted to make you feel good. And he was just like,
And you needed that.
yeah. No, and I know he'd be honest with me too. He was always honest.
Yeah, did he ever tell you anything sucked?
Did you ever tell me anything sucked, Cody?
I don't think he was
I
being...
felt like
Well, he probably wouldn't
I
say
felt
that.
like the things like you would always give an explanation with everything you sent. So anything I could say, you already know you needed to fix, or I knew you were competent enough to know you needed to fix it.
Yeah,
So-
true. I would always like
You
send him
had an
something and be like,
escape
I know this needs to change.
Yeah.
I know this is terrible.
Yeah.
But I could take
Does everyone
everything-
do that? Because I do that shit
I
all the
could
time.
take
It's not mixed
everything
yet,
for what
but
they're worth, but I also, because of that, like, I'm lucky enough to hear the progression of what these songs, that they're bare bones, you know, to what they are now, and to be able to be along for that ride. There's nothing like it. To
Yeah.
see, like,
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's like...
people would pay for that privilege with one of their favorite bands, and I've got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Maybe
But
we
yeah,
should
it's
start
pretty-
charging him.
Yeah, it's pretty wild just how he
Yeah.
ended up here and everything. Because like, he was always just super cool. You know, we just became friends over time. Because he would always, I don't know, just be supportive, and that was always it meant a lot. Kind of like how Jonathan is with us too.
Oh yeah, J-Cavs.
Yeah, boy.
We should try and execute on that thing for J-Cavs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But or get him on a podcast.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, and so then just when the opportunity arose, I know Cody's always wanted to do music. He's phenomenal as well. He does shred the acoustic none other.
Not even only emos.
Boy.
Like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, just good stuff. So,
Shreddage.
Tell me a thing or two.
Him being able to move out here and just be a bro, be a fan.
He's
and,
a great
and
shoulder
be
to cry on.
Yeah,
And he'll cry with you.
that was pretty cool.
Oh, shucks.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Made me think of like King of the Hill when they're like in the alley and it's like, yep.
Yep. Yep.
That's basically just
That's
the
my
podcast,
verse.
right? It's us on our couch in the alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just moved indoors. Then we should do this outside by the road.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
fun. Let's do one.
On a couch in the yard
Hear
with our
wind all
feet
the
in
time.
like a kiddie pool.
Rain clouds be coming.
Vape clouds.
I think that pretty much
But let
does
that
it.
be a lesson to like any fans listening. If maybe you're not good enough to be in your own band, just be like super cool and be like a nice friend that's supportive and like you can maybe, who knows, do your own Cody Church live.
Still be a part of something.
Yeah.
I also want to point out
Not
how-
that yeah. sorry.
how things work. Like if you have if you
Cody, I
have
didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
That's what you really mean.
If you're as big a piece of shit as Cody, you can't do anything on your own.
If you're not good enough,
Disclaimer.
do what Cody did.
For forever.
God, I didn't mean it like that. My
No, we
bad.
get what you
But
said.
go ahead, Huff, with your.
But I just also want to point out, like, if you have a feeling like you should go somewhere for your passion, just go ahead and do it. Because, like, the thing I want to point out is, like, we all moved here around the same time, which is just weird. Like, it wasn't like one of us moved here 5 years ago, one of us moved here, 10 years ago. We all
Lived your
moved
whole
here.
life, yeah.
Yeah, we all moved here at the same time. And I think that says a lot of how, like, we all ended up, making music together. And
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
It's like Tim was saying how you don't know why, but you feel like you have to do it. Man, I can remember the moment when I was like, all right, I got to do this.
Yeah.
And that was after the trip to Cali.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Remember
gonna
the
start
time
saving
when-
up.
okay.
I'm gonna start saving up paper towels
Yeah, exactly. You
Paper
don't
towels.
change.
you don't think about the logistics. You're just like, all right, this needs to happen.
Started stockpiling a bunch of
life just has a way of working out. Like, don't sweat it. Don't panic.
Yeah.
Just, if you have a feeling like you should be doing something, just do it.
Yeah. for
It's
sure.
not going to be easy, but you
No.
just got to do it.
But, I think that we live pretty cool lives being able to hang out and stuff. And it's not always easy. And we still have our bills. And it's not like we're doing this full time yet. But you just got to keep pursuing because the only thing that happens if you don't pursue is like that will never happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
Yeah,
like
exactly.
in
That
this
was the big thing for me.
in this day and age, like you can just keep chipping away at it, and like there's gonna be bumps along the road.
Yeah, you're gonna
You know.
fail a lot.
Yeah, and there's gonna
You
be
want
a
to, though,
3-month
really.
dry
You wanna learn.
spell where we don't know what to do. But I think the key is, especially having a band, you have like everybody to kind of lean on and be like, all right, we gotta do this, and if somebody falls off, you help them get back on, and you figure it out together, and that's definitely the hard part is figuring it out, but you do it together and you got like support systems and shit.
No.
So I think you just gotta keep chipping away at it. Like
Just take that leap.
do it for a couple of years and see what happens,
Yeah.
Unless you're not good enough.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and
But
like
there's only one way to find out if you're not
I
good.
mean, at that same
I'm just
time, you gotta start from somewhere.
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, keep chipping away at it. You never know. And like I've always said this, I don't think that I'm like a super phenomenal guitarist or compared to a lot of the greats out there, but I think like having Chris to back me up or me to back him up, like together we seem like it's, if I'm by myself and I have to play something for people, it's not impressive, but if I had Chris there and we were doing our dueling guitar stuff, it just
We're playing a
seems
third
so much
over it.
more yeah, it seems so much more incredible, and like so it's like you don't have to be the greatest at your craft. You should definitely work towards that, I think, but
You just gotta find your own niche, your own little corner.
yeah. And so I think that's important to remember too, is like you have to recognize your abilities. You can't, it's like Brian said, like if you're really terrible, like recognize that and work at it.
Yeah.
But
You just
But
gotta
there's other things to do though. It's like
yeah,
This doesn't just go for music. This goes for anything, really.
right.
Just
Like
take
if
that
you-
leap of
If
faith.
you
Follow what
enjoy
you-
something and you're good at it, you
Yeah.
might as well just
Like
get
follow
at it.
your strengths.
yeah, and you'll always like find stuff along the way. That's the thing I think about pursuing something is you find your.
Yeah, you learn about stuff you didn't
Yeah.
even know
Yeah.
existed.
And it's like if you stop, like then you're just at this dead end. But if you keep going, you're gonna keep learning, and it's
Right.
like who cares? I used to freak out about I gotta be successful by the time I'm like 23,
Yeah.
you know, and like now it's like who cares? Like you're living,
This is
Yeah.
so far
doing
out of
what
your
you
control.
want, yeah, and it's like you just learn and get experiences, like getting to play Nam and or going to like CD Baby. And like just these awesome experiences that you wouldn't have got if I just was in Dexter working a job. I wouldn't be in Dexter.
Constant progression. Constant progression is like what I think about. Like, even if it's just one tiny thing, progress a little bit every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put the time in every day.
One tiny
Even if it's
thing.
30 minutes a day, just put the time in.
That's it, man. You get what you put in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just good to know. And it's like I said, everybody falls off, but you just get back on. And that's the cool thing about being out here is like we always have to get back on. Like we don't really have a choice, you know. It's like so if we have like a couple month dry spell where we don't do anything, it's
Other
like
bands are passing us up.
yeah. But I mean, it's fine though, because it's like you get back on.
Yeah.
You know, it's like don't beat yourself up because like, well, I haven't done anything for 3 months, so let's just
Yep.
quit.
It's like in the grand scheme of things, it's all like short kind of example. Like my mom and I were having a conversation when I was back home on the West Coast. We were talking about like when things are a waste of time and when they're not, and like when things are useful. And it's like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's all like, it's all part of the process. It's all growth. Like you can take anything away from it, you can learn from it. You know, so that 3 month dry spell, 2 month dry spell, you know, just keep going. Just keep going. You know?
And I guess I would say that isn't a waste of time. I mean, in the moment it might be, but you learn from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That's
it's like you
what-
kind of learn that, okay, I shouldn't do this because it burnt me out. And then I had this. And so then you just get to like tweak it and you're constantly just figuring out how to do shit. You know, like, I think that's just so important. And that's what a lot of people don't, like, people who aren't creatives and think it's goofy to pursue like your passions and stuff. Like, it doesn't have to happen instantly because you're
It's
learning.
a process for
yeah.
sure.
You know what I kind of think is strange is like, you know, other than the fact that, you know, there are other things in school that they don't want us to know or teach us, like, you know, time management being one of those things. I know I am I need that really bad, time management. But, you know, I kind of think about like when we're in school and we're kids, you know, you have, let's take high school for example, like 5 classes, 6 classes for 5 or 6 different subjects, you know, and maybe if you do sports or like choir too, you know, you've got all these things packed into one day, and then you've got homework, and then you come home, you know, you do whatever you do with your home life and repeat. And, you know, it's just kind of interesting to think about, like, we need that when we're kids because we're learning and we need to be, like, safe and protected and, like, you know, nurtured to learn all that. But, like, when we become adults, you know, obviously people are like, you know, it's going to be different when you're older, you know, it's not the same. But it's like, I still feel like I have desires to learn all these things and, like, do 1,000 things in one day. And it's just not possible.
No.
Like,
Right.
and I don't know. That's my 2 cents there.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that, but I don't think you need. So the way the schooling system is, I don't think you need that 100% when you're growing up. I think you need the basics, but I think it's got to be more individualistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you need math and, you know, English and all that stuff, but like you said, you're taking like, you know, however many subjects in a day and cramming it all into one,
Right.
which most you probably don't care about. I know I didn't.
Yeah.
I think most of us weren't fans of school. So if
Well,
it was
like-
more based off like what you like or you're good at, I feel like that'd be much
True.
more beneficial.
Right.
But you do need the basics, I think so.
I think, like, the bulk of my classes, like, senior year of high school, it was fun for me because, you know, there was, like, one math class or something or whatever, but it was, like, I had choir and I had video production, and I sometimes did some graphic design. No, so it was video production, choir, drama, like after school musical type stuff, and then I did like football and wrestling, and then there's other extra classes that were in there. So it was like the bulk of my day was either like physical fitness or music or like drama or like English and like repeat.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed
That's dope.
that.
That sounds great.
Well, that's why I think that's what he's saying is like these are just things that you enjoyed, and you
Yeah.
should work at bettering
Yeah.
yourself in those areas, and that's just something that most of the time the school system doesn't give a shit about.
Yeah,
I mean,
see,
except
I
like
had-
the teachers in those areas, they understand.
But I feel
like
like
the teachers and the
it's
creative.
also just I feel like you probably went to like a pretty nice school, like in a
That's true. Yeah, I was in the
good
middle.
neighborhood.
I was in
It's
the
like,
middle of nowhere.
if you have
You
no
more so.
if you have no funding,
Yeah, my
it's like
school
those
sucked ass.
all that individual shit is the first to go because
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's what I'm saying. I remember like social studies and
Yeah.
math, which I'm god awful at.
I kinda like-
stuff like that.
I kind of like that my school didn't really have shit because like I was one of those people that I just kind of like always taught myself. So
Well, now we have the internet, so it's
Yeah.
like you can take yourself to
Yeah, I
school
feel
like
any
the same
day,
way.
any
You can,
subject
yeah.
you want for however long you want.
Mine didn't even I hardly went to school my senior year, and I was lucky that my principal was so cool, and he actually checks out our stuff and everything too.
Shout
Yeah.
out to
That's cool.
He believed
Shout
me the
out.
whole time.
So, yeah, but for real, I was lucky to have that. But I didn't even go to school because I was like, this is not what I want to do, and
yeah.
and that's
See, now if you were going for something you actually cared
yeah,
about,
exactly.
this time.
Yeah.
You ever think about like when you have kids? Sometimes I think about like, do I want to raise my kids in the American school
you like-
system?
When you have kids,
Well, the other option is the homeschooling, which means
No
Or-
experience. See, I feel
No
like
social skills.
well, not
Yeah.
even only that, but how are you gonna have time to?
yeah.
true.
Well,
Go
like
ahead, sorry.
no, it's cool, but like I think about who knows, like would you ever move to like Denmark or like Sweden, and like were they predominantly like they pretty much everybody speaks English for the most part, you know.
We can't talk about this the week of 4th of July, bro.
That's
is
true.
like
This is
my bad.
fucking America.
America.
the
See, I feel
the
like
this will
American
be
side
out
of me
after
wants
the
to
4th, it's
punch
fine.
you right
Yeah.
now.
I feel like school's fine, like up until middle school.
up until kindergarten.
Yeah, or kind of to 3rd or 4th grade maybe, because like you do need to interact, and like a lot of my favorite memories in school was just being with my friends. You
Oh,
know?
yeah, 100%.
And I think that that's important to have. It's just the learning aspect that's tough,
I
and
get
like
what you're
it's
saying,
it,
though.
it really
Mhm.
shuts you down for being creative, and
Yeah.
I
No,
think
I
that
think
the
that's
world is
planned.
going.
Most definitely.
The world
Most
is going towards where you need to be creative, like just with AI and with jobs being
Don't
taken
even
away.
do
It's
it.
like you should go into those
So don't even do it.
like that black.
I was
Mirror.
and Elon
There it
Musk.
is. Elon Musk.
No, for real though, Elon made a school for his kids. I don't know if you knew that.
Really?
It's just what
Wow.
Yeah.
like my whole
He
point.
created a school for his
Yeah,
kids.
would you go to another country? What
Like,
what
I don't-
country would you live in if you didn't live it in America? And you had to
Japan.
raise kids.
Japan.
What? Japan.
Probably, yeah,
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that.
I would just go to Japan for the culture.
Yeah, I was
I
trying to
don't- I
think
don't
of
know
culture-wise. I don't know too many.
I'd probably want to
Would you
go
wanna-
where I even looked up one time like where the highest quality of life where people like factor in like all
Hong
of the
Kong.
stuff. Hong Kong.
It was in
Really?
it was in the Netherlands, probably, right?
It's
Is that what
it's
you're saying?
up in there,
Yeah.
Up
The-
that way.
up in the cold parts of Europe.
Yeah.
America's
North.
definitely in the top 10 though, so we got that going for us.
Quality
Yeah.
of life.
School like schooling.
I just mean we're in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
What's your source?
Huh?
What's your source?
We're definitely in the top 10. We have like influence over everything.
Top 10 of what? What are we talking?
Just like places to live.
Top
places to
10
live.
list
Like I'm
country.
talking.
Damn.
Like, I'm
I'm
talking
telling
like
If you
quality.
don't like America, you could get out.
I love America so much.
You're
I
brown.
I want our schooling system to be perfect.
Oh, we're talking about
That's it.
schooling, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I was
like,
talking about
top
this
10.
overall like quality of life. Like
Our quality of life is
Yeah.
not too bad.
no, not
Well,
too
Like I said, I just want people
Top
to
10
be
is
able
fair, I
to.
think.
I want people to not fear being creative. That's it. I think that that's sad that so many people like have these passions and desires, and they're just shut down because
Yes.
like, you know, I think all of us are actually kind of lucky
Also,
with our parents.
people
Like,
kind of fucking
Yeah.
suck too. Like, even if people like want to pursue something creative, like usually they get shut down by like how the internet is today.
yeah,
You look at the fucking comments on people's shit, and it's like,
That's
fuck.
That's why you don't care about
You gotta be
Fuck
tough.
the comments.
but yeah, like we all have pretty supportive parents, and I think that we're lucky in that aspect.
Most
Definitely.
definitely.
For sure.
But you gotta, dude, fuck the hate. Do your thing.
Yeah, but like imagine
If the
like
comments,
if
even your
whole life-
parents, if your parents tell you this is stupid.
But imagine your
who
whole
cares?
life, like them being like, all right, you know, it's cool that you got this little hobby, but
If
you
you're
gotta figure
enjoying
out
what
what
you're
you want to
doing,
do in
yeah.
life.
If you're
Yes,
enjoying what you're
that's-
doing, who
That's my
cares?
boy back home in California. Like
Yeah.
his parent, like even one time. I mean,
Uh-oh.
What?
love you guys. Anyways,
Oh,
I have a friend who
that's a very.
I'll
broad-
edit over the name.
It's a broad-
Like my friend
anyway, Sanchez.
My friend Philip.
Julia.
No, I have a friend who his parents. I just felt like they never supported his music dreams like at all. No matter how much
That's
I tried to.
Yeah,
tough.
and like, but you know, and you can't really fault them because they grew up in a even worse than how we were. You know, I think
Yeah.
that our kids will, you know, I think a lot more of our generation's like supportive of that stuff, and then their kids will probably be more, it's, you know, going towards that. But imagine like back then, like, you know, like,
Yeah, like,
when they grew up,
The
it
next
was,
generation up.
yeah,
Like, to not play no shit.
mm-hmm,
Like, that's, like, my dad's, like, really, really good at guitar. And, but he just never had it. He was like, he never had that type of support.
Yeah.
It was always like, that's cool.
Sucks.
And they, like, he had support as far as I know, because, like, he had guitars that he still played that were gifts from his parents and
right,
stuff like that. So they definitely supported it, but it was still, like you were saying, at the end of the day, like, okay, so what are you going to do?
yeah,
Like, if you have a kid, what are you going to do? Because that's not going to cut it.
yeah.
Like, that type of thing.
So, and you just
Sure,
always,
yeah.
and that's like my thing is like, you know, maybe if you're pursuing something and you have this idea of where you want to go, you might not end up there, but you're gonna end up in a career path that I think will make you happy because you'll find other
Oh,
things
shit.
along the way, you know, as well. And maybe you're drawing and you wanted to, you know, work for Disney to be able to, you know, animate or something. But like you find some other path in drawing, like you
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
just be able to do something like graphic design for people, and
then
like
you
that's
just get
what
to
you
the
end up
point where you
doing.
can sell your art. And
Yeah.
you're just like,
And it's like, and you never know like where your life's gonna take you, and so I think it's just important to pursue that because if you don't, like, you're never gonna know what your life could have taken you
Yeah,
or where you could have gone.
And that's what I never wanted. Like,
Mhm.
I think it was a big thing with moving here is
Yeah,
did not want to like wonder what if I hadn't moved here, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it's
So- But I think
That's a
that
good point, though. Like how you said, like just go with your passion, just go for it because you never know like other avenues you might discover.
yeah,
Like,
it could change.
For instance, like you fell in love with marketing,
Mhm.
like you're doing that now as a side thing.
yeah,
I became a bassist.
I found coding. Like I fell in love with coding, and I love like.
I thought you said
know-
Cody.
I love coding.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
Love you too.
But yeah, I fell in love with
Master.
coding and like graphic design work. You know.
yeah, yeah,
Like-
for sure.
too. Yeah, that's a big thing. You just kind of learn other shit along the way.
Yeah,
I think as long as you just trust your gut, you'll figure something out.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Even
and I
if
think
other people tell you it's stupid.
And I think with
fine.
the internet and like figuring out how to get in front of people, like it's eventually just you're gonna have some, you know, I don't want to market for life. You know, it's not what I'm doing that for. I'm doing that to, you know, help the band and like
it's something that pertains to your dreams,
Yeah.
but it's still like
right.
it's a fork of
real
what you want.
worldable,
Yeah.
like able to.
And it's like I feel like, you know, at some point you keep pursuing this and you keep figuring out like the kind of content to release or the kind of audiences to target. It's like you're gonna grow. Like there's
Yeah.
it's like impossible not to if you're releasing stuff and like you're moderately okay. Like it's gonna go and then at some point it's just gonna snowball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who
I
knows
think
when that
if you-
point's gonna be.
If
but,
you care enough to be consistent and putting stuff out, you're gonna get better no matter what,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and that's another thing is just the internet in general.
yeah,
Like if you have a passion, there's probably other people out there that care about that passion
yeah.
or don't know.
Well, and that's
yet,
why it's like
and
I
they
was
will.
thinking about when, like even if you're terrible, like there's some terrible bands out there, but there's an audience for that. You
That's
know,
true. Yeah, if you
like-
can build your audience, that's
Yeah,
you can
it's like
pretty
if
much
you
say
can
whatever
figure
you
out how to
want.
get in front of the right people, like it doesn't matter how bad you are. Like there's so many people in the world that you can actually hit nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
And that's
you
our
can do it.
excuse, and we're sticking with
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
We're finding our 1%.
Yeah.
But even that, even if you're terrible and you're consistent,
Yeah.
you'll probably get better.
Yeah, definitely.
Goals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can all
Hopefully,
dream.
hopefully we'll get better.
You can dream.
No, I think that's about it. Anybody else got anything?
Nope.
So,
Well, that's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Cool. Well, guys, it's been fun. Another time here at the Arc Hive. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. Remember to take the flyer on the way out. There's donuts and coffee at the door. We'll see you there. We meet here next week. We'll see you then. Remember to keep doing all the good stuff. Peace.
Later.
Love, granola.
Yes.
Are you having a stroke, Tim?
Granola.
Maybe.
Granola.
There we are.